There. Which one up here? How's the wife treating you?
Not too bad. You didn't tell me the entire truth the other day when I gave you that ticket, did you?
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
What didn't I tell you?
I'm going to give you another formal direction to state your full and correct name, okay? I want to warn you.
Yeah, my full and correct name?
There's an offence to state a false name or fail to state your full and correct name.
Yep.
So what is your full and correct name?
Rowan Lorien.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you're under arrest.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know that not to be your name.
It's my name. I can prove that's my name.
What did I say to you when I gave you the warning? Okay, my name's John Chisani, I'm a senior constable here at the traffic branch.
Yeah.
My number's 22755. Mr. Lorien, that's your middle name. I know that not to be your full and correct name. When I gave you that warning just now, what did I say to you? Did you understand
want my full
the warning?
name? That's my
I wanted
full
your
name.
full and correct name. That is not your full and correct name, is it?
Yes, it
I
is.
know it not to be. So I did give you the warning before I just put my hands on you, and what did I tell you? It is an offence to state a false false name or not your full and correct name. I know that not to be your full and correct name. You're now under arrest, okay? Sit down there.
Don't touch me. Sit down there, Ryan. Sit down. That's fine.
Yep.
Sit down. $1,000. Sit down.
Yeah, 100 grand to arrest me, mate.
I'm not right.
Yep, fine.
Go to the corner.
Yep. glosser on there, mate. Why have you got sign language on your ID? Why have you got sign language on your ID?
No idea what you're talking about.
You're using American Sign Language on your ID, and I'm asking you why you're doing that. I'm not talking dribble. That is not Australian.
Investigate a stalking offence. Can you state your full name?
Rowan Lorien.
What's your real name, Rowan?
Rowan Lorien. That's my real name. That's what's on my birth certificate.
Where's the surname Hilda come from?
I don't know. I've been asking New South Wales birth certs and marriages about that, and they haven't answered in 7 weeks, and I've asked Manly Hospital about that and why they haven't answered in 7 weeks.
Alex, investigating a stalking. I'm trying to explain it to you, you keep interrupting me.
Yeah.
Why are you so nervous, mate? You're shaking like a leaf.
No, please don't. You guys make me nervous. Like, I don't have to explain any.
No, you don't. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
You okay? You need to sit down. I'm investigating a stalking offence in relation to a police officer in a traffic branch. The name of
I'm not answering any questions. Keep going.
So I'm investigating that offence. Do you have anything to say about it?
No.
Mate, I'm here as out of a bit of courtesy then.
Certainly.
So pull your head in and stop sending letters to Chisoni.
Yep. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Is that clear?
That's clear. Certainly, sir.
Because if it continues, I'll be back out here to investigate something. Okay? So this is your warning. If any more letters are received by Chisoni,
Would it be more appropriate for me to send them to the police commissioner if
Yes.
I wish to complain or make
Yes.
inquiries about this?
Yes. Okay. We're clear?
Excellent. So it is the 31st of January 2015, rainy day in Cairns. I'm with Rowan Hilda and we need to discuss an ongoing incident with the Queensland Police Service, or with one police officer in Cairns. I'm with Rowan Hilda and we need to discuss an ongoing incident. With the Queensland Police Service, or with one police officer in particular.
Yeah, I'll just correct the name there. It's Rowan Lorien. I was previously Hilda.
Of course.
Old
Mr.
habits
Hilda's die hard. I mean,
do.
Mr. Hilda's dead.
He is.
I killed him.
Yeah.
Which is the crux of the story. It's an interesting way to start it there, Rob. But I was intercepted by Queensland police officer by the name of, well, the name he gave was John Chiazzini, some months ago now, and he pulled me over riding a push bike along Sheridan Street without wearing a approved helmet, and he gave me a ticket. Now he asked me for my full name, so I gave that as Rowan Lorien. He then proceeded to write a ticket out which was in the name of Lorien Rowan, written backwards in all capital letters. Now I asked him at the time, I quizzed him about all capital letters, and I also quizzed him about why the ticket had all the boxes on there. His response was that Queensland Police are notoriously messy. That's the official response to why they use boxes. Yeah. I didn't, at the time I didn't have my birth certificate, so I didn't actually know the registration date, but he asked me for my date of birth, and I said, well, I don't have that. Would you happy with the day that I was born? I actually told him the date that I celebrate my birthday is the 30th of April, so he was happy with that. And so he gave me the ticket, and then he refused to answer any other questions. He kept saying, do you have any questions? I said, yes, I have questions. Why aren't you writing it? Why are you writing in all capital letters? And he said, do you have any other questions? Yes, what questions will you answer? And he really couldn't get out of there quick enough. But I took the ticket under a threat that if I dropped it or did anything with it, I'd be charged for littering. So I took it, I wrote unclaimed on it, and I rode back into the police station in Cairns in Sheridan Street, and I returned it to them.
You handed it over the counter at the
I
police
did to a
station.
lady at the police station. I said, that's not my name, it's unclaimed, I don't want it. And she took it back. Sometime later, I attended the police station at the Cairns airport near Tom McDonald Drive, and I confronted Chiazzini. I was pleasant to him, and he then demanded my name again, which I did give correctly as per my birth certificate. He then tried to commit me to a surname of Hilda in all capitals, and he handcuffed me and shook me and threw me up against a wall, injured my back, telling me he knew that my full and correct name was Rowan Lorien Hilda, which it's not. That's that he was uttering, he was actually committing a crime. And so I was arrested. I did offer a contract at the time of the arrest, which was $100,000 to arrest me, and he agreed to that.
And we have video.
We have video footage, so hopefully you're watching the footage while I'm talking about this.
But he actually asked you. He claimed that your full name was,
Rowan Lorien Hilda.
and yet on the birth certificate, what's your name on the birth
The
certificate?
name is Rowan Lorien.
That's
The
all. that's in
surname
there.
is Hilda. And I do understand that under the Police Powers Act Section 40 that he cannot ask me for anything more than my name.
That's exactly right. I just want
So-
to confirm that.
Just by definition of name, it is Rowan Lorien. That's it.
That's what's on the birth certificate.
It doesn't say the police can ask me for a surname.
No.
So I provided my full and correct name, which is Rowan Lorien. That was one given to me by my parents.
And the date of birth, you just weren't aware. You weren't aware at the time.
I was aware that it wasn't the 30th of April.
That's right.
So I said, are you happy? The day I celebrate my birthday, which I do, I celebrate my birthday on the 30th of April every
Which
year.
is the born date.
The born date, yes. I never committed to the date of birth as being the 30th of April.
Yeah.
So he was happy with that, and if I didn't provide him with that, he was going to take me to Cairns Police
And
Station,
by-
so I was under threat and duress.
Yeah, and by twisting the name back to front, what you gave, Rowan Lorien, back to Lorien
Rowan.
he then,
Well, that's not my name.
no, well, he's actually corrupted even the Christian name, the true, correct Christian name, he even corrupted that.
Corrupted the text of my name, yes.
Yeah, no.
The Unicode is, if it's not in the way it's written on the birth certificate, in that order and those letters in uppercase and corresponding lowercase, it's not your name.
That's right.
So I returned it. I was arrested. He took the camera off me at one point. That was quite funny. I spent 5 hours in the lockup until I was drugged in there. I was taken to a doctor who I didn't request to see, who gave me medication that I didn't ask for.
Do you know what sort of medication it was?
Yeah, it was Mesindol with a carminative. So I was.
Mesindol is as far as I'm aware, it's the strongest over-the-counter painkiller you can buy.
So under the effect of drugs, I was still, basically I was threatened that if I wanted to restore my freedom, I had to sign these false documents under this name, Hilda. So I wrote duress on one, and I think I wrote Rowan Lorien on the one to get myself signed out. And so they gave me a heap of paperwork. MS Flynn was the name on the paperwork, the custody sergeant. So once again, I just simply unclaimed, written across all the documents, and I registered post them back to the police commissioner. They did tell me I was meant to attend court, but in my letter to them, I told them, look, I'm not going to not attend court, but I can't read this American Sign Language. I don't know what, and if you were to read it in English, it would say Cairns Courthouse or City of Cairns. They don't appear on any map, so I asked them to please translate those glosses for me so I could actually comply. And I sent them a schedule of fees, and the schedule of fees ended up being $63,150,000. Now I served these on the officers at his house. I sent Chieseni 3 registered letters. He didn't reply to none. He accepted them all. So we have tacit consent to that debt. That's including the $100,000 that he agreed to at the time of the arrest.
So the papers were served to his home address, and they were served by way of registered delivery?
That's correct, yeah.
Registered post.
Yep.
So if we can just backtrack, can you clarify the difference for the viewers and listeners between date of birth and born date? Because to the average person, they would be one and the same thing.
Yeah. The born date's a medical procedure when you actually were, you left the surrogacy of your mother, basically. The date of birth is the date, not the date on which the thing was created, but the date on which the deed was recognised. So the date that I came into existence as Rowan Lorien was about 6 weeks after I was born. So that's the 19th of June.
Are you referring to the registration date?
That's the registration date, yes. The date of birth is the 30th of April, but 6 weeks later, because I was Baby Hilda, they created a ship. The doctor created a ship of Baby Hilda or Baby Hilda, and then that went along to 6 weeks later when I was actually registered, which actually changes my place of birth. I thought I was born in Manly, New South Wales, which I guess I was, but where the certificate was birthed is actually Crow's Nest, New South Wales. So when you're actually writing it down, you've got to be careful about what they're asking you. So you don't want to identify the Babylon Trust, the baby that you were. You want to identify the Ecclesiastical Christian, which is the other entity on your birth certificate. And so that's what I did the whole time. I maintained my Christianity throughout this process, and so I served them with the notices. I did not attend court on an alleged date because I couldn't read the date. I could make an assumption that was the date, but I didn't. I asked for it to be translated and it wasn't. I received no response. Sometime after that, I received a visit from 3 detectives, including a Bradley S. McLeish. He provided me with an ID with a glosser in it. Now, the surname McLeish was written in all capital letters. I did ask him what that meant, and he refused, and his exact words were, "You're talking dribble." But you'll see that on the video.
So he didn't know the difference, or he wasn't aware that all uppercase text was actually not English. He assumed that it was just normal English, didn't he?
To the point where he insulted me to do it, yes.
Right.
He referred to that as complete dribble. So he went on then to try and get me to utter the Hilda name.
What was the purpose of his visit? He came to your door.
Came to my door. He said he tried to identify me first of all, which I think if he had managed to identify me as Mr. Hilda, which is what he wanted to do, I would have been arrested, which is for failing to appear in court, failing to wear a helmet, and providing a false name. But because I refused, because he said, once again refer to the video, I gave my name as Rowan Lorien. He said, "Where's Hilda come from?" He uttered that, I didn't. So I said, well, I don't know, because I have been trying to find out. I've asked the government where this has come from. I've
Yes,
sent
you
numerous
didn't
letters.
actually refuse to give it. You asked them where
Yeah, I'd love to know where Hilda came from and what it is. I cannot get a straight answer out of any government department, including births, deaths and marriages. Registrar Greg Curry will not respond to any letter, registered or otherwise. So it quickly changed to the fact that he was there to investigate a stalking offence of me sending an agreement to Chieseni to agree to be part of his corporation and be Mr. Hilda for a fee, because as a trustee I'm entitled to a fee. I'm also entitled to full disclosure of my duties. So I asked him, what are my duties as Mr. Hilda? What do I have to do? And are you happy with these fees? And he did not respond, so that was his consent. And Bradley basically told me that if I sent any more letters, he would be out to further investigate this stalking offence against Chieseni, although he called him Chiesino, which I don't know who that is either.
And he claimed that the stalking was just in relation to the notices you sent to him by the mail.
Yeah, he claimed that those notices, and which is an agreement to a contract, which cannot ever be considered, like, that would be such a dangerous precedent to set as stalking.
And they were posted through the post.
They're posted through the post, yeah, to his home address, because he's the officer, he's the one holding the liability, so I posted them to his home address.
Can we cut there? Sorry, I just thought we'll do a fresh 12 seconds because I was worried.